Hello and welcome into another one of our classes in the course Get Your Dream Job. Are you ready to make a great first impression in a job interview? Well, that is great because that is exactly what I am going to teach you how to do in today's class. So, let's begin. But before we start talking about how to make a great first impression in a job interview, let's put on our headphones or earphones so that we don't have to listen to any noise. Let's get a notebook and a pen so that we can write everything that is important. And let's make ourselves comfortable because learning is always better when we feel good. Are we ready? Great. When you are preparing for a job interview, your focus is on the tough questions, of course. So you think about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it, and maybe what kinds of anecdotes you could say. And that's all good. The interview is about those things. However, it is also important to make a good first impression. You know what they say, you only have one chance to make a great first impression. From the moment you walk through that door, you have to make a stellar impression. Stellar means related to the stars. You want to be a star from the moment one. So let's talk about 4 tips on how to make a great first impression. The source of these tips is in the Muse magazine. The Muse magazine is a great magazine for business tips. So if you want to learn more about how to improve your career, that's the place to go. So let's start with the words that we need to know for today. Let's stop the video here and match the words on the left with their definitions on the right. And when you are ready, please unpause the video and we are going to go through this together. So now that you've unpaused the video, let's go through this together. So when it comes to being on time, that is punctual. Punctual is an adjective. It is important to be punctual for a job interview. Arranged or planned in a particular way or methodical. What is that? This is organized. That's right. Organized. To arrive or appear at a certain place is said to show up. Now, show up is slang, but this is something that you might hear. Something that can be assumed or relied upon. What is that? This is a given. For example, it should be a given that you are qualified for the job you are applying for, right? If you are capable of being reached and you are easy to speak to or deal with, then you are accessible. Here we go. And something that is basic is essential. Now, this word can be used as a noun and as an adjective. For example, a toothbrush is one of the essential products that we use for our hygiene, right? But also, essential can be used as a noun, and you will hear, bring only the essentials to the job interview. This means don't bring anything that is unnecessary. Bring only the things that are basic, things that are necessary for your job interview. Did you get all the answers correct? Well, very good. Let's move on. We are going to continue with our lesson and we are going to go through the tip number 1. Let me just clear the page, clear everything. And the first tip, and a very important one, is to show up on time. Get to the job interview on time. If you are late, then you're not going to be considered. So you've heard it a million times. If you're early, you're on time. And if you are on time, you're late. It should be a given that you are punctual. This is really important. So make sure that you are punctual to your job interview. If you are running late and there is nothing you can do about it, well, in that case, make sure that you let your interviewers know. They will really appreciate it. And it's much better for you to let them know that you will be late than to actually be late and they didn't know anything about it. So, have you ever been late to a job interview? And think about why it is so important to be punctual. How much earlier should we arrive to a job interview and why? What do you think? How early is too early? If you arrive more than 15 minutes earlier, then you might be considered desperate. So don't come to the interview too early. Make sure that you come a little bit earlier, but not too early. Now, the tip number 2 is to dress the part. What does this mean? Well, dress formally, wear formal clothes, because if you don't, then you're not going to be taken seriously. A job interview is a formal event. It is a formal occasion, and it deserves a formal clothing. Your appearance, the way you look, will not determine whether or not you get the job. If you are qualified, maybe they will consider you even if you come in something else. However, we are talking about making a great first impression. And to make a great first impression, you need to dress appropriately. Now, your first impression may be a decisive factor in whether or not they are going to hire you. So for men, this means wear a suit or at least wear a tie and a shirt and some formal pants and shoes. When it comes to women, wearing a shirt or a formal blouse and a jacket might be a very good choice. Please don't wear short skirts and heels that are too high. Please don't wear open shoes either. Please don't wear cleavages that are too deep. Don't come in shorts. This is for men and women. Don't come in sandals or slippers. Make sure that you dress the part. Of course, if you come less formal, if your dress or your clothing is less formal, then it will show a lack of professionalism from your side, right? It does not exude the same sense of professionalism. For example, if you have a purse, an umbrella, a stack of resumes, you might seem a little bit disorganized. If you dress like this girl or this man right here, you will seem like you are not very interested in getting and becoming a part of that team. So let's be professional and let's show them that we can be professional. So think about how you should dress for a job interview in the company where you would like to apply. And think about how you should not dress for a job interview. You can pause the video, think about it, write it in your notebook or your diary, and then you can unpause the video and we can continue. When it comes to the tip number 3, it's about bringing only the essentials. We talked about this. Bring only the most important things. As they say here, a jolt of caffeine may be necessary for you to get pumped up for your impending meeting. But don't bring your paper cup inside the office to finish off the last few sips. Sure, it doesn't seem like a huge deal. Who doesn't drink coffee in the workplace, right? But you probably don't want your first interaction with your potential employer or even the receptionist to be anything along the lines of, Hey, you got a trash can back there? The same goes for non-essentials like granola bar, right? Or a gum or something like that. I read a little bit for you because the words that a writer from the Muse magazine used were actually quite picturesque. They paint a clear mental picture in our minds. But the point is, bring only the most important things. Do not bring unnecessary things. So, what should you not bring to a job interview? What should you not forget? Think about this. Feel free to pause the video and write down the things that you should never bring to a job interview. And also, write down the things that you should never forget. I will give you a few hints. Don't forget your resume. Don't forget your cover letter. Don't forget a pen. They might ask you to sign something, and if you don't have a pen, you might not be taken seriously. Don't forget your ID card. And don't forget your smile. Don't forget your manners either, because if you are rude or impolite, again, as I said a million times, you will not be taken seriously. The tip number 4 seems a little ridiculous to some people, but I'm going to tell you it is really important. Why? Well, because you're going to see. The tip number 4 is be nice to the receptionist. I will read this for you and then we will talk about this. The person at the front desk may not be the hiring manager, but that doesn't mean that his or her impression of you does not matter. In fact, some of the companies specifically ask their front desk attendants to report back on the demeanor, that is behavior, of interviewees, those are the persons interviewed, who come through that door. And that likely plays a role in the ultimate hiring decision. So what does this mean? This means if you are rude to the receptionist, your employer, your potential employer will certainly know that. And then your chances of getting hired are going to go down, they're going to decrease. And this is definitely not something that you would like to happen, right? Be nice to the receptionist. Be nice to everybody. Don't be rude to anybody. So who is a receptionist? Who is a front desk attendant? This is a person who works in the lobby or at the entrance of a company. This is the person who will accept guests or visitors. This is the person who will tell you where to go and when you can see somebody. Why should you be nice to this person? Think about it. And then if you don't remember, go back in the video and watch that part all over again. And think about this. Are you generally nice to receptionists or front desk attendants? Okay, well, I hope you are. In this lesson, we went through 4 tips on how to make a great first impression. In the next one, we will go through 4 more. Each lesson, we are one step closer to helping you get the job that you would like to have. If you are qualified for it, you are going to do your best and you're going to get that job. Thank you so much for learning at least 5 things today. So be nice to the receptionist, right? Bring only the essentials. Don't be late or be punctual. And what else? What else? Let's see. Dress the part. That's right. We also learned that making a great first impression is very important, and that's our 5th thing. So, thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to our next lesson. Until then, stay well and review what we learned.